All right, so if you're watching this video, my guess is that you are someone who's ambitious. You care a lot about your potential, and you especially care about hitting the goals that you set for yourself. Now, I totally get it. I'm in the same boat, so I want to let you know that there's two very important aspects when it comes to goal setting. The first one is that goal needs to be very specific and very clear, as we'll talk about later in the video. Number two is you need the right tactics and strategies in order to hit those goals as quickly as possible and as easily as possible. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video, because I want to make sure that you not only hit those goals, but that you absolutely crush them, you blow them out of the water. So in this video, we're going to talk specifically on how you can set the right goals, and I'm going to give you my top 6 strategies on how you can crush those goals. All right, so let's get into this. Now, when it comes to goal setting, I like to use an acronym called SMART. SMART's a tool that you can use to actually make sure that you're setting the right goals and that you're clearly defining that goal as much as possible. So we'll walk through the SMART process real briefly here. And the first step of the process is making sure that your goal is very specific. You know, I like to say that clear targets get hit, unclear targets don't. How can you see or hit a target that you can't 100% see? Unless you're like a Navy SEAL sniper, and that's a whole different story there. Take a look at these two statements. 1, I want to be more generous. That's great. 2, I want to spend 2 hours one Friday a month at my local shelter volunteering my time. Very different between the two of them. Just by saying you're generous, what does that even mean? It's very vague. But when you actually put more substance to it, it becomes more clearly defined. There's action steps oriented with it, and it allows you to be very specific in hitting your goal. So make sure when you're setting your goal, you're getting as clear as you possibly can, because a clear target gets hit. Now, the M of the SMART acronym stands for, is your goal measurable? And this is really important, because how can you actually track your progress or keep yourself accountable to your goals if it's not measurable and not trackable? So you need to determine a metric that you're going to use to track your progress. So for instance, let's say you decided you want to lose weight. 1, you got to be very specific in the amount of weight that you want to lose, and you need to make sure that you're tracking it the way that you want. Now, in some instances, if you're saying you lose weight, some people care more about fat loss percentage, and some people care more about the pounds or the weight lost. So in that aspect, you need to define what's the metric that you're going to use to define your progress as you go along. And that's going to allow you to be more accountable to yourself and to other people. Now, the A of the SMART acronym stands for, is your goal achievable? Now, this may seem kind of silly, but let's be honest, there are times where we set some goals that are maybe a little too lofty for us. So put this in perspective. Let's say next month you decide you want to make $1 million, and you've never made $1 million in your entire life. My guess is, unless you have a shoe-in to win the lottery, that goal is probably not going to happen. Now, I'm not saying that you should be shy about setting your goals by any means, but also let's not be reckless either. You can always set a stretch goal. So let's say, for instance, your goal is to make an extra $500 this month on your side business or your side hustle. Well, your intended goal could be $500, and maybe your stretch goal is $1,000. The R of the SMART acronym stands for, is your goal relevant? And this is really, really important, because if you set a goal that isn't in your true nature, your true desire long-term, you're very unlikely to actually achieve it. Or you may be pushing yourself in the direction that you don't actually want to go. So to put this in perspective, let's say you have a goal that you want to get promoted at work. But really inside, and your true nature and your desire for your future is that you want to start your own business. Is getting promoted at work the best thing in terms of starting your own business if that's where you truly want to go? And the T of the SMART acronym stands for time. Is your goal time bound? This is really important, because I don't want you to fall prey into, oh, I'll get it next month. Oh, I'll get it the month after that, because soon enough, that goal that you originally intended in your mind to be only a month to achieve will get stretched out over the course of a year and 2 years, and that's not what you want. So step up to the plate and set the date. That's kind of clever. I should trademark that. All right, so now let's talk about some of the top tactics or strategies that you can use to crush those goals. Now, the first one that I have is to tell somebody. Get an accountability partner. Tell somebody your goals. This is really important. I'll give you a story that will kind of put this into perspective. In college, I saw a lot of successful people working out really early in the morning, so I decided I want to do that same thing. So I said I was going to wake up 5 a.m. every day and go work out. And I made it about 2 or 3 days. that's about it. And then I started kind of slacking it off, pushing it to later, and I said, maybe it's not for me. But then a friend of mine heard that I was trying to do the same thing, and he said he would do it with me. So now all of a sudden I had somebody to go with. Guess what happened? I started waking up every single morning because now it wasn't about me. It was about somebody else too. I had somebody to keep me accountable to hitting that goal. So now when I sat there staring at my phone and pondering pressing that snooze button, I thought about the other person who was counting on me to hit that goal, to make sure I was there to work out with them. And so having an accountability partner can be a great way not only to have somebody there to cheer you on, but also to make sure that you're staying accountable to your goals and to your action steps. Now, the second strategy that I have for you is to focus on one thing, and this really comes down to brain science. We found through research, and there's a great book written about this called The One Thing, that your brain can only really focus on one mental activity at a time. And this is really important because if you're trying to spread your mental energy over the course of 10 goals, it's going to be a lot less powerful than focusing and targeting your energy towards that one specific goal. And so your action steps are going to be to prioritize your goal in order of importance. So that way you're hitting the most important one first, and as soon as you crush that goal faster than you ever thought possible, you're going to move on to the next one and start chipping those goals off your list rather than only putting about 20% of your energy towards 10 different goals. And speaking of focusing on one thing, this leads me towards my next strategy for you, which is to set up blocks of uninterrupted time that you can spend on one particular focus. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to set up in your schedule blocks of time where you're going to have no emails, no text, no social media, your phone's going to be on silent, you're going to block out all possible distractions and focus on one activity that's going to be directed towards your goal. And this is really important. You're going to be shocked at how much you can get done with your undivided attention.
You couldn't handle my undivided attention.
So what I do personally is every night from 9 to 10 p.m., I have that block of time set up to focus on one particular project or goal that I have in mind. So right now I'm working on a productivity playbook. So every night from 9 to 10 p.m., I'm working solely on that, and there's nothing else to distract me. And you'll be amazed at how much you can get done with that one intentional block of time set up for that one focus. The next strategy I have is to turn off the notifications, please. If you want to crush your goals, you need to turn off those notifications that pop up on your phone. And there was an interesting study where they looked at productivity in the workplace, and they found that for every time somebody got distracted, whether it was from somebody coming to talk to them or something popping up on their phone, it lost on average 3 minutes, and it took them about 3 minutes to get back into focus. And they found over the course of the day, the average loss of productivity was 2 hours. That's 2 hours every single day that you're not going to be able to focus on your specific goal that you have in mind. And this is really important, especially if your goal is more of a professional goal. So please do yourself a favor and turn off the notifications on your phone and watch your productivity soar. The next strategy is to plan, 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 and plan some more. I want you to remember the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And this really comes into how are you setting up and planning and preparing to hit those goals. And that means maybe at times you need to schedule out your days, your weeks, and even your month at times to make sure that those action steps that are going to help you reach those goals are set in for blocks of time. I almost think of it like setting a date for those to make sure that you're setting the schedule and you're not letting each and every day dictate your schedule. Because guess what? There are things that pop up over the course of the day, and that means that you may be diverting your attention towards your day rather than the goals that you have set up, because it's very easy to push those action steps out of the way when other things start to pop up in your schedule. But if you have those set up in your schedule, it's going to be a lot easier to maintain and actually hit those action steps that will help you reach your goal. So for instance, if your goal is to lose weight, but you don't set days to actually go to the gym and work out, it's going to be unlikely that you're going to hit the amount of days per week that you need to hit that goal. So what you need to do is set up, okay, here's my day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to the gym at this time of day, right after work, and then that'll help it set up in your schedule. You also want to make sure you're planning for the obstacles. So you want to make sure you're trying to prevent as many of those obstacles popping up. If you know your kids have activities at school, you want to prepare for those. If you know that you're going to have some days where you're going to be on vacation during the time you're trying to lose weight, prepare for that. You want to plan and prep as much as you possibly can, and that's going to truly ensure that you're going to hit those goals. You may even want to consider planning to plan, or preparing to plan your plan. Whatever your plan is, I think it'll be good. And my last strategy for you is a little bit different, and it's to get moving. And this comes down to your brain and how movement or exercise affects your brain. Exercise floods your brain with fresh oxygen and nutrients, but I can't tell you how many times just getting up and getting outside, going on a walk, going running can really invigorate the brain and help you see things in a whole new light. And I can't tell you how many ideas or insights I've had while going on a run that have allowed me to hit my goal faster and easier. And this is especially helpful if you feel like you're getting stuck or you're kind of losing motivation to hit your goal. Just going out and going for a run can really not only invigorate your brain, but help you gain new insights that'll help you get to your goal faster and easier. All right, guys, those are my top 6 strategies for you guys to help you crush your goals. But now it's your turn. Time to go out and crush those goals for yourself. And I'm curious, make sure in the comments below you let me know what are some of your favorite strategies to help you hit your goals. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found this useful, and hopefully this will help you crush your own goals. And make sure you share with somebody else who could use a little bit extra help and motivation crushing their goals as well. And before you leave, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you like more videos that will help you get more done. Or if you just like seeing videos where we overlay videos of The Office. That's cool too.